workouttrainer.com, right here at The Gym, the personal home fitness studio of Dr. Jim Stepani and myself. Today we're going to talk about triceps, specifically the difference between a regular triceps press down, as demonstrated as such, versus an overhead triceps press down, okay, demonstrated as such, okay? Now, when you think about the triceps, you've got to remember the name in itself describes the anatomy of the triceps. Tri meaning three, okay? So if you look at the anatomy of the triceps, you have a long head, which is the one back here, okay? It's the longest head in the triceps. Then you have a medial head, and you also have an inner head of the triceps. Now, the triceps that you can see that are responsible for the horseshoe are the long and the medial head. You can see the inner head a little bit, but unless you're completely ripped, body fat down to 3 and 4%, I'm not quite there just yet, it's very difficult to see. But when we're talking about what parts to hit the triceps, a lot of people want, Mike, I want to get the horseshoe, I want the horseshoe in my arm, how do I hit it? You can stick with regular triceps press downs. Now, I'm using more of a rope system here, just because it puts my hands in a little bit more of a free pattern to where I can get more extension into the movement. A bar is just as fine. It really doesn't matter when people say, oh, get more extension, push your elbows out. Look, all that stuff is great, but really comes down to just where the position of the humerus is in order to determine which part of the tricep you're gonna hit. Traditional triceps press downs, when you do them, are done to where you're standing in an erect position. The line of pull is the direction that this weight wants to go up, the cable wants to go up. The line of resistance is actually, or the line of pull is here, the line of resistance is this way. What you want to do is you want to make sure that as you're standing here with the triceps press down, that humerus is in a vertical position consistent with the direction that this cable wants to pull against. So a lot of times people say, oh, we'll come out here and you can get a bit, look, that's called constant tension, but what happens is right here there's an angular change that's not putting as much emphasis onto the triceps in this position here. It's only in the fully extended position to where I'm going to get a real direct load onto the triceps, which you can do. It's a good variation to do, but it's not what I'm talking about for these purposes. For these purposes, you want to stand in an erect position here, keep your humerus straight, and just press, come up, let your arms flex, okay, all the way up a little bit past 90 degrees, and then come and press down, okay? If you're doing it with a bar, I like using this because it's a hands-free version. So I take my hands out of the motion. I'm not using my hands to go ahead and press the weight down. This arm just acts as a lever, but the pulley is right back here, which is the triceps. This hits more of that medial head, or that shorter head, okay? Now, when I go ahead and I turn around, or if I were to lower this this pin down, and I were to extend my elbow up, this is where you're going to start hitting more of the long head of the tricep, which is the back part to where it really develops that horseshoe look. So to do it, you can just go ahead and actually lean over slightly, keep your head up, allow this angle to really pull your arms back above your head, and from here, you're leaning down slightly and just extending out. Coming back, keeping the elbows, once again, as consistent as you possibly can with the direction of the cable. Coming out, but this stretch, this angular change to where the elbows are above the head puts more of an emphasis, and you can really feel the difference on the back part of the triceps. The same thing when you're doing skull crushers, such as when you're doing a barbell where you're laying on your back, you're doing overhead skull crushers. That emphasizes that long head of the triceps. So just play around with the differences. One of the supersets I really like to do is where I will superset regular triceps press downs, okay, just like this, and then immediately turn around. That's why I like having this and going right into an overhead triceps extension. All right, it's a great superset to do. So give it a try. Now you know the differences, and now you know the anatomy of the parts of the triceps, depending on the movements that you're doing. When you're in the gym, there's a lot of things that go on. Whether you want to hit the long head, the short head, the bicep, whether you want to hit, you know, the different areas of the quads, such as vastus medialis, vastus lateralis, rectus femoris. All these different muscle groups that make up the body, different angles, different positions, different techniques, can place a different load and give you guys different results that you might be looking for. So if you want to get that horseshoe look, okay? Look, I got genetics, so I naturally do have a big tricep, but I train my butt off when it comes to trying to get that horseshoe look that I like, that many people out there desire. And it's focusing on understanding the difference between when you're doing just regular triceps press downs. If that's all you're doing and your triceps are lagging, also incorporate an overhead triceps extension. Traditionally, I use the cables. I do use the bands, but cables make it a lot easier just for movement, as well as getting to the right position where you can get the right load on the triceps. So if you guys want a workout program that I designed that utilizes these two movements to help get you the triceps you're looking for, make sure to click below. That workout program should be listed on the Workout Trainer website underneath this video. If you guys have any questions, be sure to ask me on either Facebook, or you can ask me right here at workouttrainer.com by clicking above on community into the trainer section, finding myself, Mike Mackerlane, ask me a question, or follow me and ask me a question on Twitter. That is Mackerlane20, that's at Twitter. If you guys have any more questions, let me know. Until next time, take care.